I was born around the Christian year 1596 and given the name Matoaka by my father, Wahunsencock. Everyone calls me Pocahontas.
Wahunsencock, who is called Powhatan by his people, which is taken from the principal place of his dwelling called Powhatan. Powhatan is the emperor of the savages in Virginia. The savage capital is some 14 miles from Jamestown, and with the arrival of the Virginia Company, Powhatan moved closer to the shanty town of Warapacas, so it would be easier for him to raid our civilized town, I believe. I remember the first time I met Powhatan's daughter Pocahontas. I was captured by the savages at their habitation at Pamunkey. From there they took me to Maranokonoko, where was Powhatan their emperor. There I saw Powhatan's unholy entrance take place before his savage people. At the end of this devilish carnival I saw two great stones placed before Powhatan, and before I knew it I was being dragged to Powhatan's feet and my head was slammed against one of the stones. The savages brought out clubs and were about to beat out my brains. The king's dearest daughter, Pocahontas, wrapped her arms around my head and placed her head on top of mine to save me from death. After that, Powhatan was more of a devil than a man to me.
Do not patronize me, you white devil. My father pitied you, for you were weeping as an adolescent girl would for her lost doll, and it was not till you pissed yourself did my father let you go. I will not allow you to make my people look uncivilized when it is you who are uncivilized by destroying our land with your bloodlust for gold. The Powhatan people are civilized in our work and in our relations with each other. We do not destroy our land and search for materialistic things. We work the land, we hunt the land, and we thank the land for what it can give us.
You of all should know how the Powhatan people are uncivilized. They believe in devil worship to their pagan gods. The Powhatan men force their women to work long days in the field, providing for the family, while the Powhatan men lay around and do nothing. That is uncivilized. Women belong in the house doing domestic work while men are working to provide a healthy environment for the women. It is women's responsibility to be obedient and subjective to her male counterpart.
Your conception of our society and what societies are supposed to be is all wrong. Everyone in our society does their work for each other, and no one is overworked or forced to do anything that they do not want to do. Unpleasant and continuous repetition of labor does not describe the work of my people. The work that we do is varied on a daily basis. Throughout the day, women could pace themselves and visit with one another as they went about their business. The day starts at early dawn when everyone starts to wake up. Everyone goes to the river after they have woken and bathe themselves in the river. When the baths are done, people make tobacco offerings and pray to the sun for protection during their daily work. Young boys would start their work by gathering mussels and dipping into the fish trap in the river if the tide was low enough. Men would work at intervals throughout the day, bringing game to be added to the communal dinner pots. Women would often separate themselves into different work parties the night before so they would know what skills will be needed for the next day. One of the work parties would go out to the cornfield, plant another field, and weed the field that was planted a month ago. When the weeding was done, the women would place a couple of boys in the scarecrow hut to fend off any vermin that would destroy the crop. The boys would take advantage of their time in the scarecrow hut, practicing their hunting skills by not only scaring off birds, but also they would sit quietly and allow corn-eating animals like raccoons, possums, and even deer to enter the field and get close enough to shoot. Another work party consists of two groups. One group searches the woods for berries and greens, and the second group gathers firewood for the day. This can be done throughout the day, and many of the women in this work party provide help in the cornfields. A third work party travels up the river to harvest tuckahoe. The tuckahoe plant grows in the freshwater marshes of the riverbanks.
I have seen this plant. It grows about 18 inches down in the murky mud. And one day a savage will gather sufficient for a week.
How can that be? It takes about 4 people to perform the labor-intensive procedure to harvesting tuckahoe. It takes 2 people half an hour to pull up one plant from the marsh, and then a third to scrape off the needles. The women who stay in the village have their own work schedule. Baskets are made as well as cordage for net and bag making, and for house repairs. There are women who engage in pottery to make pots for storage. When the men bring in wild game from their hunt, the women clean, butcher the animal, and add it to the communal pot. It is also the women's responsibility to tan the hide of the animal so it can be used for clothing like aprons for women, breechcloths for men, and protective leggings and warm mantles for both sexes. By late afternoon, everyone is back in the village, depleted from the long day of work.